Oh,
Hi, James.
how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing quite well.
Unlike Austin,
Yeah, Austin appears to be in a bit of a pickle,
as well as Taylor.
as well as Taylor. Taylor was complaining that his work schedule changed today. I'm like, oh, you mean the work schedule went from where you work all the time to now where you work more of all of the time?
I see that. I'm just looking at Twitter and I see it.
And yeah, Austin. I don't know if Austin's still playing Disgaea, Disgaea,
Jaya.
Disgaea, Disgaea.
Disgaea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's some accurate pronunciation there.
Okay.
I don't know if that's it. He claims it's because he is unwell. He says he was so slow in responding to me today. I was concerned that he had outsourced the podcast.
Well,
And
I was reading Twitter at work on my break and I saw him say it was like I haven't slept for 2 days. I'm like, is that real? Is that a lie?
I don't know. It might explain why he feels like ass, because he said, and I quote, "Sorry, not feeling well." To which I have to say to you, Austin, that usually happens after you don't sleep for a couple of days.
Which I say to you, Austin, fuck you.
Yeah. So basically, I think this entire podcast, you and I should really do nothing but just say things to Austin that we don't feel like saying to his face, because he is probably the one who has to edit this.
What a sucker.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another steamy edition of Hot Tales from the Cutting Board. Yes, Hot Tales from the Cutting Board, the radio drama program about the best kitchen-based erotica that the internet's seen, brought to you by Whirlpool. So tonight, we're just going to kick off with our tale for the evening, which is going to be titled Hot Buns.
Nice going.
Can I start, please, James?
I'm sorry, Master. I'll shut up.
You know, people have tuned in for a very specific reason here, and it's obviously to listen to the hottest kitchen-based erotica brought to you by Whirlpool. I'll begin then. His bronzed and chiseled arms worked the dough strenuously, grunting and pushing with each knead, standing beside the latest edition of Whirlpool's Accutech Baking Corporate Super Platinum Deluxe Line Edition, featuring 4 stovetop burners with the latest in new heating element design, boasting a 30% increase in heat transfer efficiency, and also the accurate baking system ready for when you want to get your goods out of the oven. He was almost done his work of dough when the door to the kitchen opened and in she walked, her dress sliding right by the Whirlpool Platinum Design refrigerator, now with modular door design to maximize storage space for you and your family. Yes, featuring a more accurate thermometer, the temperature keep settings in the Platinum Whirlpool Refrigerator Deluxe Edition feature far more accurate and steady retention of heat and cold to keep all your frozen goods as fresh as they possibly can. But not just the freezer, no. With its specialized moisture control, the refrigerator unit of the Deluxe Platinum Edition keeps even the moistest of foods extremely mouth-wateringly moist. See, this is weird because normally when I do these things, Austin jumps in after 2 minutes. When we started doing the podcast, I would have these almost paragraph long intros that I was ready to do, and he'd get 10 seconds in, and he's like, Johnny, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, dude, actually, if anything, I'm getting hungry.
But you're just letting me go here, and I'm running out of shit to say about this refrigerator.
Honestly, I had 2 slices of basil bread toast and some chicken wings. Man, now I'm just fucking starving again.
Just, God damn it, I gotta go to the fridge and make a sandwich. How come I don't have AccuBake systems?
Honestly, I was just going, okay, BRB fridge. Just leave. I probably would have just left you talk for about another 5 minutes while I ate.
Yeah, I probably would have stumbled a little bit more as we got further and further into it because I'm getting a little hungry now myself. I think I got some prosciutto around here somewhere, but, I didn't even get to the features on the latest Whirlpool edition microwave with its sleek curves.
Brought to you by Whirlpool.
Brought to you by Whirlpool. Warning, Whirlpool is in no way associated with this podcast or its broadcasters.
Anyways.
Yeah, so, but, I mean, the moral of the story here, folks, is...
Sell out.
Sell out.
Sell out to appliance manufacturers.
As frequently as you can, as thoroughly as you can, sell the fuck out.
Because you never know. Tomorrow might be your pink slip day.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, I was worried today that Austin had given me the Deep Six from the podcast.
Whoa. Speaking of which, we're alone here, you and I.
Yeah, it's true. You may notice, regular listeners, that we are missing one particularly snarky, grim, usually extremely tired and grumpy feature to this show, and that is regular resident grump, Mr. Austin Yorsky, is absent. Now, conjecture has been flying left and right, far and wide, to and fro, up and down, as to the actual cause of Mr. Yorsky's absence. He insists that it's because of an illness. Well, more accurately, he insists because he's not feeling well. Considering how I make Austin feel on a weekly basis, I don't think that that's a good enough excuse for not showing up for the podcast. Because I very recently make sure, doubly sure, that he's not feeling well.
However, I would like to point to some evidence that I have found on Twitter. Austin Yorsky, 9 hours ago, posted, "I haven't slept in days." Hashtag ThisGuyID2. ThisGuyID2, for those uneducated, is the game that he most recently reviewed on the website www.blisteredthumbs.com.
Net.
And he gave it...
blisteredthumbs.net, sorry.
blisteredthumbs.net. And he gave it a 9 out of 10. So, that leaves me to believe either one of two things. Actually, one of three. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he's feeling unwell. Number two, the fact of the matter is he hasn't actually proceeded into his regular hibernative rest cycle in the past 24 to 48 hours or more. Or three, he's actually still playing this guy at D2 right now.
I think suspicions are strong in the room that it is indeed the third option. But far be it from us to make judgments. This also serves, as a perfect window to introduce my cohort for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Costanza.
That's right. They decided to go for the bottom of the barrel for this one.
And making it, I think, the first time that we've had a 100% Canadian podcast for Blistered Thumbs.
Woo!
So,
go Canada.
For those of you who are demanding more national, multicultural input, please send your hate mail to Sean at blisteredthumbs.net.
CC Austin Yorsky.
Yeah, CC Austin at blisteredthumbs.net.
Hey, wait a minute. We're the only ones on here. Should we just spend an hour and a half talking about Tim Hortons?
We could, as long as we talked a little bit about poutine as well.
The promised land. full of poutine and Tim's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Although, I really gotta say that as far as a cultural icon for Canadians to latch onto, Tim Hortons, not really that great.
Well,
They do a lot for the Canadian identity, right? Like they have their like hockey sponsoring, and they like send kids off to camp and shit like that. Like there's a certain iconic presence as Tim Hortons, but like as an actual place that sells like coffee and donuts, I don't know, man. It's kind of shit.
I have to admit that the lines are far too long.
It's not just that, but I mean, their coffee isn't so much coffee as it is like a hot brown delivery system for sugar and cream.
Well, isn't that all coffee?
No, I mean, I drink my coffee black.
Oh.
I drink my coffee black with no sugar, no cream, nothing. I take it right from the devil's teat.
Right from the bean? You just like grind a bean through your teeth and just pour a scalding cup of water down your throat?
I have my own grinder. I have my own espresso machine. I am a coffee snob. I'm perfectly willing to
He's
admit
got a
it.
Keurig.
Yeah.
He has to have a Keurig if he's a coffee snob.
It's not a Keurig. No, it's actual. It's a DeLonghi espresso machine. None of this pre-measured out cups or any of that
that's
shit.
That's not snob. That's almost. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Epicurean. Epicurean.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say hipster, but yeah, that's a better word for it.
I worked in a coffee shop for nearly 10 years.
Wow.
When I started when I was really late in high school, and I kept working there for years after that, and I got ridiculously obsessed with coffee.
Makes sense.
And so nowadays, I'm fucking serious about my coffee. It's got to be rich, and it's got to be thick, and it has to have crema and depth and flavor, and Tim Hortons is all you're gonna want to put stuff in that, and I'm like, but I like coffee, and they're like, yeah, that's not coffee.
That's sugared color, or not sugar colored, sugar water.
Almost. And then they don't even make their dough fresh on premises anymore.
No, they don't. Well, I don't think they've done that for a while.
No, not for a number of years, but I mean, it used to be a staple of Canadian industry, where it was you got to go in and it was fresh fucking donuts that they made in the back and then they baked, and even if you didn't like the coffee, they had something hot for you. And it was put some sugar and cream in this, and you'll be bouncing off the walls for 8 days.
You can bitch about the coffee all you want, and I won't care. If you talk shit about their breakfast sandwiches, I will kill you.
Actually, I quite like their sandwiches. I'm willing to give them that.
Yes,
I quite like sandwiches.
I could have, if I could get two breakfast sandwiches for the morning per day for the rest of my life, I would totally do it.
I can understand that.
They're delicious. I don't know how.
See, I just found a place locally though that hand makes all their donuts and then fries them just like serious donut people, and socks blown off. My socks were so blown off, I can't even put socks back on again because as soon as I get them on my feet, blown right off again. They preemptively blew my socks off. That's how good these donuts were.
That's pretty good. I don't get that luxury at work. We have a Tim's maybe a block. No, not a block away, but it's 5-minute walk at least, at the most actually.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's not it's good for a quick sugar fix if you need one. The problem is that they're trying to it's the same problem that I have with Molson Canadian beer. They try so hard to embed themselves in the Canadian identity, and I'm just no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because when I say to people internationally, oh, I'm Canadian, they're like, oh yeah, Tim Hortons and Molson Canadian. I'm like, way to latch on to two of the most mediocre food and beverage products that our country's famous for.
Well, you probably do the same for their country, and they probably say the same thing.
No. When people are I'm American, I'm like, ooh, America? Rock and roll, yo!
Oh, Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks!
Nah, not really Dunkin' Donuts,
Well,
man.
I'm pretty sure, Mary. Well, at least Dunkin' Donuts probably prides itself on being the American donut place.
No. If anything, it would be rock and roll, Kanye West, and Here Comes Honey Boo Boo.
What? Here Comes Honey Boo Boo?
Have you don't know about Here Comes Honey Boo Boo?
I will in a second.
Oh boy, James, get ready to feel new levels of shame for the human race.
Oh my God. Google's just preemptively saved me. Here Comes Honey Boo Boo is an American reality TV series on TLC featuring the family of oh my God, it's that family.
Ah, you recognize them by sight.
Oh my God. Yes, I do. Because I'm pretty sure they've already been immortalized in memes and GIFs for months now.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Oh my God, it's terrifying.
It really is. If you've ever actually sat down and watched any of it,
dude, I don't even bother with reality TV shows. My sister, what was it? It was last Christmas. My sister came over for the Christmas dinner, and she started watching. Fuck if I know the name of the reality show she watched. But it was basically life in a trailer park, and I just I have to sit through an hour of this before dinner. It's no, I have to get out of this house. It was so bad.
I understand. I don't really like reality TV myself. Because as opposed to feeling that it turns an ugly mirror or turns a mirror
I'm pretty
on the ugliest parts of society.
I'm pretty sure it's just a mirror.
There are a lot of people who sit there and are like, wow, look how so much better we are than these people. to which I say unto you, yes, but you are the one sitting on the couch watching these people on TV for an hour of your life, as if you can't possibly imagine something better to do with your time.
You're paying their wages.
Yeah, that too. Of course, in the end, anybody can do whatever they want to whittle away their time and enjoy whatever downtime they have, be that reality TV, be that kitchen erotica.
Brought to you by Whirlpool.
Or, as the case may be, playing video games.
Video games!
Because, as we all know, video games are probably one of the least respected ways to fritter away your free time.
As well as the one way of getting your name on TV, as this is probably why he killed somebody.
Yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that your name will be on TV because you killed somebody, or a bunch of people, as the case may be. Because I find a lot of the time that it's video games are never to blame for one guy getting killed. Do you notice that?
I saw
one guy
a couple.
gets stabbed or one guy gets shot, and it's video games. It's they only want to bring video games into the occasion when it becomes a massacre. That's my experience anyway.
I thought, I've noticed that I'm not sure if it's just me paying attention to these stories in general, but I thought there was a massive increase in these blame video games for shootings kind of stories on.
Oh, they are, but I'm just saying that in my experience, it's it's never he shot the man and then calmly put his gun down and turned himself in. So video games are always no, he tried to kill as many people as possible, therefore it must be a video game problem. That man plays too much Minecraft.
Obviously.
Yeah, let's not dignified discussion of this. I categorically object to this kind of reductive. I was going to say recidivism, but this isn't recidivism. It's reductive treatment of in mental illness, as well as one of the most valuable industries the world economy has managed to create in the past 4 decades.
That's true. They're catching up to movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, and instead, let us talk of more inspiring and wonderful things to do with video games, starting with, I think I'm going to start with the PS4 and the Xbone.
Oh, Xbone.
Or this week, as I'm going to call it, the Microsoft...
second place?
Cotton Candy Enema.
Oh, right. You have a thing where you name the Xbone something else than it actually is, which is funny.
I haven't done it in weeks. And I gotta say that I was actually really, really annoyed when they announced it was called the Xbox One, because I think I could have come up with a bunch of other names. So I'm going to ignore the fact that it's called the Xbox One and just start giving it different names anyway. So this week it's going to be the Microsoft Cotton Candy Enema.
Speaking of which, not to deter from what we're going to be talking about, but I noticed that on the review sheet that Austin has for us, that he gave to all of us, he actually put Xbone, not Xbox One. He actually put Xbone.
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised.
I have to say, I chuckled a bit.
So the actual news, which came out earlier today, the day that we're recording this podcast, is that a Reuters poll was released about who was interested in purchasing which of the consoles for Christmas, for well, no, not necessarily for Christmas, but, I mean, everybody's reading into it that this is what's going to happen once the holiday starts. And that means, well, when I tell it to you, the fact, you're going to see what it means. The fact is that 26% of the nearly 1,300 people that were surveyed said that they were likely to purchase the new PlayStation 4, against only 15% who said that they were interested in purchasing the Xbox One. And then apparently, when you take not just all of the people polled, but when you categorize them down to people under the age of 40, 41% of people said that they were more interested in the PS4 versus 27% against the Microsoft Cotton Candy Enema.
So that's 41%. Like, that's the first part. That was only 41%. So is the remainder would be I'm going to buy both or neither?
I'm assuming that people who are both get counted in each group.
I guess
I mean, it would be ridiculous where if they would just ask the question, like, are you going to buy a PS4? They're like, I'm interested in it. Ha-ha! No further questions!
Then you shut it down.
I'm assuming there's some cross-contamination in there, that of that 41% and 27%, that there's definitely a little bit of intermingling. I'm assuming that the groups that are not interested in purchasing them are probably people who have no intention of acquiring either one.
That's true. Oh, wait. It says down here, this is because 64% of total respondents stated they would not be buying any new game-specific hardware.
There you go.
There you
go.
That includes the Nintendo 2DS and the Steam box.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that these people aren't going to buy consoles down the line, but at the moment, anyways, which may or may not be, a fair idea, because I feel a bit skeevy about buying new consoles right out of the gate, because first-generation games always blow ass.
True that.
But I gotta tell you, James, I'm actually surprised that the PS4 is leading.
And I rebutted by saying, what the fuck are you on?
It's not that I don't see the merits of the PS4 over the Microsoft's Cotton Candy Enema. It's just that I didn't expect other people to notice the difference. That's
true, and I've always at first glance I thought these 1,300 people are like average Joes. There's no guarantee they actually saw like the E3 presentations from Microsoft and Sony, or they saw the Xbone TV ad that they had that basically made it an over-glorified media center.
Yeah, I can only assume that of this cross-section of people, and granted, I mean, 1,300 people isn't
that is
the largest.
Quite a bit, yeah.
It is. It's a number of people. It's quite a lot, but it isn't like the largest sample size, particularly when we're talking about like international markets as well. Like we don't know what's going to happen in Europe. We don't know. Like, actually, presumably, if we go internationally, things are probably going to tend even more heavily towards the PS4.
Yeah, because especially when it goes to Japan, because Xbox has no presence there.
It's not even that it has no presence there, but they've made it like abundantly clear that the online component of the Xbox in international markets is going to be piecemeal at launch.
Yeah.
And for that, Yeah, I can say it's probably more likely on an international scale that the PS4 is going to do better, but in the United States alone, I did not expect people, particularly like with that kind of margin, like a margin of at least 10%.
Yeah.
Well, not 10%, excuse me. That's 10% of all people. But for of the margin of people invested in buying new games, that's like nearly a 66%. That is a 66% jump.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty big. Man, I'm just trying to look for any details and rooters, but no, that's about it.
Do you I've made my feelings abundantly clear on the podcast before that I'm not really interested in purchasing a console right out of the gate, but if I was going to lay any money down on one, it would probably be the PS4. Although, I mean, that may change as gaming catalogs become more detailed and more feature-laden, but are you eyeing anyone in particular, James?
I got my pre-order for the PS4 down, fully paid. I just fully paid it last month.
What are you looking for out of the PS4 specifically?
I'm not
What moved you?
I honestly can't remember what moved me. Actually, no. The Order. That was one of the games on at E3 that really caught my eye. And basically I was going okay, there is going to be a next generation. Which one do I want? Well, and then I look at both of them, and I saw Microsoft have a whole bunch of trouble over this past, has it been 3-4 months, trying to go okay, we'll change this and then this, maybe spruce up a little bit of this, and then everyone will be happy, right? Okay, and PS4 is just we got this in the bag. It's basically what it came down to. PS4 is on top of their game with this console, I feel, while Xbox is trying its best to try and grab the market from casual gamers to non-gamers. Is basically what it came down to.
Yeah.
That's what really sold it for me. This PS4 is going we're here for you, buddy. And I was like, all right, I'm in.
So Sony spoke to you.
Yes, especially when Jack Tretton totally shots fired on two accounts within 5 minutes of each other on two aspects of the Xbox One that the PS4 didn't have, the whole sharing protocols and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That really showed me that PS4 is ready to play ball 4 months ago.
Yeah. Now, I got a further question on that, which I think segues beautifully into our next story. Do you think the Steam box, does it have a stake in this game?
I've been looking at it for the past week, and I'm Steam's going to try really hard, and I don't know how far they're going to get with it.
So last week on the podcast, we had a chance to discuss the fact that the Steam OS had just been announced, and there were 2 more announcements that Valve was going to make that week. We accurately predicted that one of them was going to be
the Steam box
in some form or another. Yeah,
and that the other one would be Half-Life 3.
I gotta be honest with you. I do have to be honest with you. I was kind of surprised to learn that they're not going to have a single manufacturer for the Steam box.
What?
Did you not read this? There's not going to be one particular Steam box. They have shopped the idea out to apparently number of manufacturers. So basically, sorry, they're called the Steam machines.
Yeah, I see that.
So Valve is making a prototype themselves. They're having one that they're actually doing, but they have actually shopped out to hardware manufacturers, being you can make
you can make the Steam box.
Steam boxes, and I mean, and this kind of makes sense because a few months ago, back when I think it was at the Consumer Electronics Show this year at CES, XI3 announced that they were making a Valve-backed Steam box.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and then Valve was like, "No, nope, not valved back, nope. And everybody was like, what's going on? Because they're saying that this is like for Steam, but Steam, like Valve is like, no. So I would be kind of interested to see whether or not we're going to see a variety of different style of Steam machines.
So are they like making this like a contest?
I don't know if it's so much a contest as it is just like, allowing hardware manufacturers to just jump in and make their own Steam machines, so that it's like, because right in the questions in the questions of the press announcement, it says, when can I buy one? And the answer directly from Valve is, quote, beginning in 2014, there will be multiple Steam OS machines to choose from, made by different manufacturers.
I see.
So that may or may not work to their advantage. I'm unsure about that. It's a little difficult to call whether or not the Steam machine is a good idea, a great idea, a bad idea, or a horrible idea until we get a little bit more detail.
Do you know?
But
I don't know.
What? Go ahead.
I'm just thinking of what. I honestly have no idea what the price point would be for this.
Well, that's the thing. The hope is that we're going to have a variety of different machines to choose that will drop at different price points. One of the things I was talking about last week, because when they announced Steam OS, they announced that they were working really hard on streaming technologies. And basically getting it so that you could almost stream Steam games directly to your TV through a Steam OS machine from your computer. And like gentlemen like you and I, because I know that you have at least a modestly impressive gaming rig PC.
PC Master Race.
A PC Master Race. And myself, like I've got I think what you call a huge fuck-off gaming PC. It doesn't really make sense for me to buy a new gaming PC that I'm just going to plug into my TV. But I was really interested in the idea that if Steam made this like little $50 to $100 thing where it's like, hey, this plugs into your household network, it attaches to your TV, and you can basically just stream these materials off of your fucking amazing PC to your television without necessarily, mucking around in like...
The one thing that I see that concerns me, I always look at the negatives on these things today, but it's one, how many companies are going to fail, and then two, how many companies are going to succeed the screening but fail at retail. Honestly, I think Valve is like betting big with the Steam box now that I know about this.
I don't think so. I don't think they're betting big at all. I think they're making money fucking hand over fist right now with Steam by itself, and they're just looking for something to spend money on.
Yeah, but Steam box could royally bite them in the ass if so many meet their screening process, but totally fuck up when they actually reach the hands of the consumers. I know Steam will be unaffected. It'll still work great on PCs, but who says that might just put an absolute stop to the Steam box?
It's conceivable. I mean, at this point in time, I think it's tough to say whether or not it's a good idea. I think it has the potential to be a bad idea, absolutely, but I don't know if anybody's going to do it.
Yeah, if anybody wants to bridge PCs to the consoles, it would be Steam.
And in the end, I think it depends, it always depends on what winds up in the consumer's hands, which leads me to the third announcement, which I think was probably the most black sheep of the three. Because when the OS was announced, everybody was like, okay,
yeah,
I guess that's a thing. And then the Steam box got announced, or Steam machines got announced, and they were like, oh, this is what we were expecting. And then the third one, they're like, hey, it's our own controller.
No shit. Well, I gotta admit, they took it somewhere new. I don't know if they're channeling their inner Nintendo, but they definitely have an interesting little layout for the buttons. actually.
Yeah. The buttons look kind of interesting. I mean, it does look comfortable to use. I'll say that much for it. Like it looks, like I can hold it. There are some controllers that I look back upon through the jaded lens of history and go, good God, man. Like, the N64 controller is always like that for me. Whenever I see anybody holding an N64 controller now, in the year 2013, I think to myself, good God, you look like a fool.
Come on, man. That's some classic shit right there.
It's classic, but that doesn't mean that it was good.
I don't know.
You know what else is classic? Scurvy. You know what else is classic? The bubonic plague.
Oh, bubonic plague.
And also the harmonium. Actually, I'm not really sure if the harmonium is actually that classic.
Now that I just try and emulate where my hands would be on this controller, I'm actually kind of concerned about the Y and the B buttons on the top right and left, respectively. Yeah. I was like, I honestly don't know how hard it will be to hit that. If the touchpads are that far apart, how am I going to have to stretch my thumbs pretty far to hit the Y and B buttons?
Now, there was actually some interesting news. I mean, truth be told, I probably am going to wind up getting a Steam controller because. So
is it going to work with your PC as well?
I assume so, considering that the Steam box is really going to be nothing but,
Yeah, that's true. Steam box is going to be built by everybody and their mother.
Yeah.
So I guess I got to keep something in house.
So I'd be curious to pick one up and just see how it plays, because it could be one of those things that I look at from afar and go, my God, man, what did you inject yourself with when you came up with that idea? But then you actually get your hands on it and you're kind of like, ooh, actually, this is not interesting. And on that note, it should be said, actually, that very recently popular indie dev and one half of Team Meat, and man whose name I'm going to horribly butcher on the podcast, Tommy Refens? In any case, Mr.
Tommy R.
Mr. Tommy did actually get his hands on one of these Steam controllers, which features touch screens and haptic feedback.
Oh, that is a touch screen. I was just about to ask if that was a touch screen. I was like, oh.
Yes. Yeah, it's tracking pads, and there's a touch screen, and, so many, a couple of buttons, some buttons, and it promises to be, hackable, and you can, take it apart and put stickers on it and then spit in it and...
What?
Rub part of it in your crotch and then stick it back together.
Johnny, get back on topic.
I'm just saying that, they promise that it's going to be open and hackable and changeable and all these things. In any case, back to the topic, Mr. Tommy R. Has said, and I quote, "It's strange."
It's bizarre.
He mentions that the fact that the trackpads also serve as buttons. He says one of the drawbacks is undefined physical buttons that your thumbs need tactile contact in order to accurately know what button you're pressing. And he spoke to the engineers and pardon me, and everything. So he even said that he was able to do quite a good job playing Super Meat Boy with it. So his general feeling about the Steam controller is that it's a, quote, a great start, needs some improvements, but I could play any game I wanted with it just fine. Which is actually, kind of what I'm thinking about it, which is why I'm saying that I probably would be interested in getting one, because it occurs to me that it might be like one of these things, again, that you look at from afar and be like, I think that's going to eat my thumbs. And then you get some time with it after. Anybody who's become a PC gamer after being a console gamer knows what I'm talking about. When you sit down for your first-person shooter and you're like, mouse and keyboard? What is this madness? And then, a month later, you're fragging noobs with 360 no-scope headshots.
WASD? Nonsense. I will use the arrow keys.
So I'm a little curious about this. It kind of took me off to the side as being like, I was not prepared for it. Like when I was walking through the intersection of Valve's announcements, and then they're like Steam controller, and I stopped and got hit by a car.
Really?
No.
Ah,
I'm talking figuratively.
that would have been
here.
really funny though. Well, not for your car, or if you don't own a car, your body.
No, I was walking in this metaphor. I was walking across the intersection, and the car hit me. And it would have been funny on video. It would have been tragic in print.
And it would be painful while you were in traction.
Well, hopefully, I would have been unconscious for some of it, and then I would have awoken several months later on some kind of Demerol drip.
With a beard.
With a beard.
With a massive castaway beard.
I would not be able to grow that kind of beard. All my manliness goes to other places.
I'm not going to ask.
Kung Fu fighting.
Okay.
Kung Fu fighting and things like drinking my coffee black and my love of whiskey and the ladies.
He's got a definite love of whiskey.
And maybe some of the guys.
Brofist only.
If I've had enough whiskey. But again, at this point in time, I think it's way too early to say anything like far too definitive about Valve's impending experimental forays into controller production and operating systems and home consoles. But one thing should be said for them: they're great fans of open source, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because do you know what else is great about being open source?
I don't know, because I don't have open source.
Kickstarter.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The last story that we're going to be discussing today, not necessarily for any, extreme length of time, is that as we speak right now, the final day of Keiji Inafune's side-scroller classic Mega Man game.
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9. Nobody's beating about the bush. We all know what's going on here. Its last Kickstarter day is coming to a close, and I gotta say, people, pretty impressive numbers.
Well done.
Well done. Well done indeed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no Star Citizen, who just posted like a $20 million...
Well, they got backing, didn't they, afterwards?
Oh, they got... I don't know. I have no idea, but that's just their crowdfunding. Their crowdfunding is at $20 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Put that in your harmonium and play it.
They only got 2.1 million pledged on Kickstarter, at least. I don't know. I know they.
Oh no, they ran funding out of their own site as well.
Yeah, that's true. But that was before. They didn't do too well on that, I thought.
Are you joking, man?
Like before they got to Kickstarter.
No. They did. Let me find the. Here we go, James. This is your lesson for the day, right there.
Teach me, teacher. 20. Oh my goodness.
So that's their next. That's their next stretch goal is 20 million.
Holy shit!
They broke. They broke 20 million.
That's pretty impressive.
But we're not talking about Star Citizen.
Right. Yes, let's go back to the Mega Man. The Mega Mans.
We are talking about we're talking about Mighty Number 9. And the funny thing is here too is that this is a game that I wouldn't necessarily think would have done well on Kickstarter, to tell you the truth.
Even though it was blasted away in a day.
Yeah, even though it blasted away in a day. And the reason why I say that is that it occurs to me that the people who are using Kickstarter right now, and the people, like, the success stories on Kickstarter, I mean, it's a largely PC-centric audience. And I know that one of the things that people were talking about when Mighty Number 9 came to the Kickstarter forefront was that there were a lot of people who were like, this is going to be the first game that I've ever Kickstarted. And that makes sense. Because it seems to me like it's offering something that a lot of the other Kickstarter success stories have not done.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen a lot of old series come back.
Double Fine.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
some old series and a lot of like old classic designers and things like that kind of coming out of the woodwork to like bring their vision back, you know, a couple of classics and a couple of new indie developers as well, or otherwise like industry veterans who just haven't had a chance to like helm their own projects yet. I'm also going to throw a quick shout out here to The Long Dark. That's another Kickstarter one that I think that people should pay attention to because, I mean, we talked on the podcast many, many moons ago about the whole concept of a survival game and what makes a survival horror and a survival this and a survival that. The Long Dark appears to me to be one of the first games I've seen that I can actually say that it's a survival game. It's also Canadian, so Canadians on the podcast.
Wow, their initial image is yeah, that's pretty fucking terrifying. I don't want to be in that situation.
Well, it you know, I won't talk about it for any extended period of time, but we've got people here that used to be ex-BioWare. We've got people that were ex-Ubisoft, ex-Relic. We've got guys that have worked on the Dawn of War games, Company of Heroes, Space Marine, God of War 1 and 2, Red Faction, Saints Row, Knights of the Old Republic. It's pretty incredible. The team that they've got. It looks interesting to me, but we're not talking about The Long Dark, though you should Google it.
We're talking about Mighty Number Niner.
Mighty Number 9!
And this just in, even though it says that they have 3.2 million and the next stretch goal is 3.3, they have confirmed that it will be going to next generation consoles.
There you go.
PS4 and Xbox One are getting Mighty Number 9, regardless of what they get.
Spectacular.
Sadly, I really wish to get to PS Vita and 3DS because I'd be much more inclined to play it on a mobile system that I have.
Well, James, I have good news for you.
What?
I have good news for you in the sense that it, like, traditionally speaking, the busiest hours for every Kickstarter project are the last 24 hours. So if you or your friends haven't pledged to the Mighty Number 9, by the time the podcast airs, it's probably already gone. So you fucked up.
Way to go, guys.
Way to go,
what the
guys.
fuck? You know what? I'm tweeting it right now. Go.
You ruined James's dreams.
Go.
I'm fine. I'm going to play it on my PC with my new haptic Steam controller. I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to play it with my haptic Steam controller on the Oculus Rift. I don't have an Oculus Rift. I really want an Oculus Rift.
How badly do you want an Oculus Rift?
I want the commercial version, the consumer version to come out, because right now the only one that people have are, like, the dev kits and things like that. I want the high-def consumer version, where they, like, you know, get it down, where they're like, yeah, isn't this sexy? And I'm like, that's so sexy. That's almost as sexy as a Whirlpool top-loading washer-dryer combination set.
You punked me into it saying Mighty Number 9. God damn it. But do you know what's not on the Oculus Rift?
Mighty Number 9?
Correct.
Yeah.
So why don't we just go over what they actually did get?
They got everything, man. They
got tons
upgraded
of
the
stuff.
stages. They got a documentary. There's like a Game Plus mode. We're going to see it on Mac and Linux versions. We're going to see Boss Rush mode. We're going to see PS3, 360, Xbox 360, Wii U versions, extra stages and bosses, online co-op, intro stages, support characters, and the fucking composer to Mega Man 2 is what they got.
Yeah, they did get that today.
Fucker. Because as everybody knows, the music to Mega Man 2 is, like...
I don't know.
I think it's the best Mega Man music around.
Well,
my brother uses it as ringtones.
I'm not much of a Mega Man fanatic, or zealot, I should probably say.
Neither am I. I'm not a zealot. I just appreciate good art.
Yeah, but I still think 3 is my favorite, because I'm pretty sure I played the most of that out of all.
I can understand 3 being your favorite. I just can't understand if you don't think the music in 2 is the best.
Well, I played 2 on my Game Boy, so no.
Do you hear me, Internet? Argue with me!
Uh-oh.
You don't have to. I mean, whatever. We're just talking about opinions here.
Get the asbestos cloaks out. There's a flame word coming this way.
I'm not gonna flame anybody. I don't... I'm an equal opportunist offensive person.
Oh, totally.
I insult everybody.
I know.
Yeah.
Why focus when you can just AoE?
It's about equality.
Correct.
Yeah. So James,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of AoE, I understand that you play in leagues of legendary proportion.
Yes, I do play the leagues. I play the leagues quite often nowadays.
Well, why don't you do us a favor here and give us an update on the state of game of League of Legends, considering that neither Austin or I never play it, nor anybody else that we bring on the podcast.
Well, League of Legends over this past year has come quite a long ways. Actually, it was starting around this time last year, or it was a little bit earlier, a little bit later. I can't remember if it was 2013 or 2012. They actually they created the LCS, which is basically their competitive esport weekly battle where they fly everyone over to Riot Studios in Santa Monica, and then they just go at it like crazy, batshit crazy people. They get all the pros I'm pretty sure they field 8 pros from each region, so that's 8 in North America, 8 in Europe, 8 in China, and 8 in South Korea and Lower Asia. And they, on a weekly basis, they get it to battle it out for standing, as well as getting to placement into the world, which was started about 2 weeks ago, I believe, or 3 weeks ago, and it is now culminating on Friday, where the League of Legends World Championship will be held at the Staples Center at 8 p.m. on Friday. Could you imagine playing a computer game in front of probably 500,000 people to 1 million people?
The introduction and the ending sequences to the old Sierra/Dynamics adventure game Willy Beamish had me imagining that on a regular basis.
That's true. I've always held the Wizard in high regards to my movies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I understand. So, answer me one question, James.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you going?
Because
your mother and I are very disappointed in you.
How do you know my mom?
Johnny. I get along with everybody.
Okay, I'll allow it. I'm not that pro, for one. I'm a lowly
Didn't you just move
jockey.
up to the Silver League or something like that recently, though?
Well, there's 5 leagues, I believe. No, there's more than that. There's 6. There's bronze, there's silver, which I'm in, there's gold, there's diamond, there's platinum, and then there's challenger. So
okay.
I have quite a ways to go, and this is only in solo queue. I don't field a team. I don't play with 4 other people on a regular basis.
Right.
The professional teams are people who play well in the 5-man teams,
or women.
And then I believe the process is that twice a year, once at the beginning of the season and once in the middle, they have relegation tournaments where the 2 lowest standing in the LCS league fight against the 2 highest in the Challenger League. And then they go at it like crazy dogs, and depending on who wins, they either stay on the LCS. They get to stay on the LCS roster, or they get shipped out. That's the way it goes.
Right. Okay, all right. So this, of course, is a natural segue, saying that if you're not spending all your time training and getting better at League of Legends, what are you playing?
Well, I have been playing a lot of 2 MMOs. As is my thing, I have gotten back into World of Warcraft because the most recent expansion, Mists of Pandaria, is starting to wind down. So I thought I might as well just go back in, see the content, and then probably make my account sleep for 6 months until the next expansion comes out. right now I'm actually finding it quite fun. I've been playing a lot more than I usually do. Probably when I bought it 3 months ago, or it was farther back than that, but I have been playing it a lot, and I am actually quite enjoying it, aside from having to play with other people, because they're all stupid.
That's always the thing that bothered me about MMOs.
Yes. They are still very stupid. Very, very, very stupid. But
obviously none of you guys.
Yes. You're all thumbs up. Thumbs up. If you can't see me thumbs up, just close your eyes and see the thumbs up.
I can hear you thumbs up, James.
Oh. I do. I thumbs up loud.
It's clear as a bell to me.
And when I'm not playing World of Warcraft, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Aren't you gonna tell us just a little bit about? Well, I guess Miss Pandaria is kind of like
Miss Pandaria
now.
Pandas.
It's getting long in the tooth.
Pandas, shadow beings that feed off emotions, and
all emotions.
I believe it's violence, anger, pride, greed, and something else I can't remember.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be a problem, because I am the best at not feeling any of those emotions.
They're all channeled into lust.
And anybody who says differently, I'm going to fuck all of you up.
Yeah, but the formula really hasn't changed for WoW. It's pandas. Their struggle, or the Alliance and the Horde decide to go to Pandaria, say, hey, there's a lot of shit here. We should take that for our war effort against each other. And so they did. And then the Horde,
very nice.
And then the Horde war chief, who's been not being a very good fellow, decided, you know what? I'm taking everything for myself. Everything.
Well, that's just not being a very good sport.
So, the Alliance and the Horde actually think so too. So that's why the Horde, he split off into his own true Horde, quote unquote. I missed the quote unquote there. And then he decided to plunder the deepest vault in Pandaria and claim it for his own, which was a Cthulhian horror, basically.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like you do.
It's always it's pretty much the trend now. The last dungeon usually involves the Cthulhian horror that's been locked away in the planet for untold millennia.
You'd think they would learn by now to stop unlocking the last vault.
Hey, gotta get loot somehow.
I realize that, but, there's got to be at one point in time somebody goes, wait a minute, guys. The last time we did this, it wasn't that good for anybody.
And then there was one guy who said, but we eventually got better, and then we beat it, and then we got loot. And then everyone was like, all right, fine.
Nobody likes that guy. That guy's a keener.
Yeah, but he was right, though. He's always right.
I guess.
I can't wait for the person who's wrong.
Let's get to the juicy story here. You've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn.
Yes. And it is quite good. Very
really?
good indeed.
Oh.
It's still grindy as shit.
Okay, now, let me ask some serious, hard-hitting journalism questions here. Is it really good, or is it just good compared to what it used to be?
Well, I really don't have a basis for that because I never actually played the first one.
Oh, so you're actually saying it's good from a tabula rasa, from a point of, no imprinting.
Correct.
Interesting. The plot thickens.
Very grindy, to be expected from Final Fantasy, but it covers that up very well. Square Enix has made it so they pull the wool over your eyes, but it's invisible wool.
Do they whisper sweet nothings in your ear then after they do that? As they lead you to the bedroom and they're like, "Don't worry, baby, you're gonna get the best squeenixing of your life."
They promised me goon gear. It looks so shiny. But no, yes, it's great.
So you're saying just as an MMO in general?
As an MMO in general, it's worth it.
All right.
Okay. Two things that I like the best about this game: the story, which is basically a Final Fantasy story slapped onto an MMO, and slapped on well.
All right, now when you say a Final Fantasy story, give me
All right.
give me a range here. Are we talking
So-
like Final Fantasy 2? Are we talking Final Fantasy 6?
How about I give you the precursor? What happens at the end of Final Fantasy 14, which transfers into A Realm Reborn?
All right.
All right. So there's basically only one faction. There is no PvP in this game for now. I'm guessing. I believe they've beta tested it back when it was in beta.
Right.
But you fight off against the enemy empire who's trying to take over everything, basically. And you valiantly fight them on this nondescript plane while giant flaming meteors rain down upon the landscape as they bombard them from the sky. And then, during the fight, the moon starts acting strange. The moon was actually a prison. It was Bahamut's prison. And Bahamut was so angry that Final Fantasy XIV sucks so bad, he deleted it. He basically said, fuck everything, and just laid waste to everything he could see.
I think that's a reasonable reaction.
Mm-hmm. While the major NPCs tried to stop him, he basically said, "No, I just got up. Fuck you guys." And so he prepared for his massive final attack, and then he basically one of the major NPCs, Louis Soix, the mightiest.
I'm sorry, what?
His name is Louis Soix, Louisoix. These people had crazy ass names for one.
Apparently.
He ships away all of the player characters away, and then Realm Reborn starts. That's basically what happens. You are a reborn hero from that fight. You are referred to by the populace as a warrior of light, and you go along the quest while you try and fend off the primals, which are basically you've played Final Fantasy VI, right?
I have played some fantasies. None of them were final.
No, I don't think at this point. I'm pretty sure it will never end.
They were distinctly unfinal fantasies.
So basically,
despite names suggesting otherwise, I was advertised to falsely, sir.
You remember Ifrit and Ramu and
all
those,
just say,
and
like,
Titan,
the summons.
and Titan and Garuda.
Yeah,
like
the summons.
All the summons.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the bad guys.
That's pretty badass.
Exactly. So basically, the primals, as they are called, are basically revered as gods, and they gain power through crystallized sacrifices and praise. And if they get enough, they get summoned to Eorzea. That's basically the world. So they have a physical manifestation. And it's all in Leviathan and Ifrit, and all of them are trying to wipe out everybody else or turn them to their side. And and the rest of the races from Final Fantasy XIV are trying to stop them. Meanwhile, the Empire looms once more. And that's Final Fantasy XIV's story starting out.
Okay. So it's got a pretty compelling story, but I offer unto you that any man with a master's degree, a bottle of booze, and a word processor can come up with a story. What distinguishes Final Fantasy XIV as an MMO?
I never saw the plot twist coming, ever.
Okay, so this is still the plot then.
Yes. Also, that's
no spoilers.
one big thing about it. I never saw the plot twist coming, ever. You get to change your class whenever the hell you want. However, you have to start at level 1, or whichever level you got it up to, the maximum of 50. Crafting is fun. It's like most MMOs, it is unlike anything I've seen before.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I just want to clarify something about your classes here. So you're telling me that if I start the game as...
If you start the game as a...
Let's say a wise ass, okay?
If you start the game as a thaumaturge, which is basically the junior level black mage...
And let's say that I become a wise ass up to like level 20, and then I want to change over and be a sarcastic bastard.
So you switch over to an arcanist, and then you'll be level 1 again, but you keep that thaumaturge level 20.
So I'm still a level 20 wise ass, but a level 1 sarcastic bastard.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can keep whatever class you are is dependent on what weapon you wield.
So you can just change on the fly then.
Mm-hmm. You got to be careful that your gear can actually fit, though.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
I get you.
And crafting and gathering is also their own classes. They have their own quests too. Not as many as like the actual story, but they still have quite a bit of depth to them. They're actually needed at the end of the game.
Is it like crafting in other MMOs where you kind of side pick a specialty?
Oh yes, like that in that regard. Yes, making them isn't like, okay, I want to make this, and then 5 seconds later you have it. You actually have like skills that you say, oh, I'm going to use this skill and see if I can make this thing like I have a 5% better chance to make it rare. Like I can make it has better stats on it. Or right. I can use the skill to make me have a better success rate because nothing is set in stone in the crafting like that and gathering. Basically, that's what it comes down to. It's not like easy mode like World of Warcraft and Ion and Guild Wars. Oh, actually, Guild Wars is actually pretty hard to do. But yeah, that's where it lies. That's where I find it best. Is the gameplay or the plot, the multitude of classes, the combat is a little bit unbalanced. I must admit, melee got shafted pretty good, but still, being able to jump on dragons is pretty fun.
Is it still subscription based?
Yes, you do have to pay $15.99 a month if you want to keep playing it, which will be a big deterrent.
With still a one-time payment of actually buying the game as well, I'm assuming.
And that's the other thing that I said was one of the best points. It's $29.99.
All right, so discount one-time pay, but then subscription-based.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure. I haven't checked World of Warcraft's price in ever. I wonder how much they sell it for now.
The other day, I was really curious about Diablo 3 because something came up about a story came up about Diablo 3. Like the game director was mouthing off about how ideally Diablo 3 is to be played online. We would never want to force anybody to do that. Which is exactly what they did, of course. And I was just kind of curious. I was like, gee, I wonder how much they're selling, Diablo 3 for these days. I couldn't even get a price without creating a Battle.net account. They wouldn't even float me a price. They wouldn't even be like, join Battle.net and we'll sell you Diablo 3 for a pint of your blood and maybe, a drunk wet kiss on the mouth.
There was one other game, actually, It's been talked about multiple times on this podcast, and I'm wondering if you can guess which game I'm thinking of.
Is it Fire Emblem?
Correct.
All right. You talk about it. Austin's gonna be so pissed that he wasn't here for a Fire Emblem talk.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
No?
It is basically the same thing. I'm actually very surprised at how much DLC they have. They have a ton. Like probably as much you'd pay as much for a second copy of the game.
This is what people tell me.
Yeah, and it's good, and they ramp up the difficulty quite well. It was what I was surprised about because I had one unit was basically okay, just stick me in front of an army and I'll be back before sundown.
All right, now I'm going to go ahead and ask this question because I know that Austin does every time we have somebody on here that talks about Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you marry and why?
I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I can't answer you.
Oh, all right, okay.
I've been actually pretty much
Austin,
grinding.
I hope you're proud of me that I asked that question just for you.
There has been one game that I've been actually watching with great interest that I was watching over the weekend.
You mean watching other people play?
Yes, I was watching my friend play this game, and I really want to play it, but I can't play it.
What's the game called?
Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
Yes.
I can't believe how invested I am in this game when I actually see my friend play it. I just don't. I don't understand.
Do you get all backseat driver on his ass?
Yes, I do. And, well, actually, I don't know if I... Sometimes he actually acts before I can think. He actually pulls off some pretty amazing plays that I never even thought of. And sometimes I actually help him with his stuff, too. But yeah, I'm actually very much looking forward to playing Hearthstone whenever it comes out, whatever they decide to do with it.
Cool.
Now, do you know what one thing that I was actually listening to a podcast, another podcast, I know, shame on me.
That's confessing your infidelity like that, James.
I asked the mercy of the court.
I'm ashamed, and now I feel inadequate.
Why do you feel inadequate?
Because, obviously, my podcast isn't good enough for you, so you've been stepping out.
I'm sorry.
Is it my cooking?
No, I think it's your selling it. It's your sellout angle with Whirlpool. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I totally understand that.
Okay, so basically what they were talking about interests me greatly. What if they tie Hearthstone cards to World of Warcraft achievements, or to StarCraft achievements, or Diablo achievements? Like, the only way you can get cards in this game is by getting the achievements in those games.
That would be the kind of...
That's diabolical.
That's like insane, evil genius styled horror.
Yes, I know.
That's like some of the most manipulative... Oh, wow. That they have that plan.
I know. They have to. It's like easy money. I don't know how they couldn't do it.
It would demonstrate a real lapse in their judgment. If they failed to recognize that.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was going to say it's a lapse in their judgment. It's like, okay, this is Activision Blizzard we're talking about, but it's not Activision Blizzard anymore now, is it? Or at least they're delaying on it, so it still is Activision Blizzard.
We'll see whenever they finally get around to it.
Court proceedings.
Yep.
Anyways, that's me for the week. What about you, Johnny?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, James. This week, actually, I managed to get a couple of things off my docket. Because I'm one of these guys who, starts playing games and then puts it down, and then I pick up another one, and then...
Have you played The Last of Us yet?
No, I don't have a PS3.
Oh. Well, I bought The Last of Us, the day it came out.
Yeah.
I still haven't played it yet. It remains I can see it right now. It's closed, right on top of my PS3, hasn't been opened. It's still got the shrink wrap on it.
Yeah. That's my jam. That is quite literally my jam. I own all these games. Anybody who's seen my Steam list knows that I own...
Oh, God. You remember that time I sent you the Steam calculator to see how much your Steam account's worth in games?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I almost puked at the sight of yours.
It's just one of those things. It is a hobby that I love, and people wouldn't necessarily guess it from how much time I actually get to...
To be fair, there's a ton of people on Steam like that now that the sales are bi-yearly or more.
Yeah. So it's it's a bountiful pasture for everyone. But I did get to knock a couple of things off my docket this past week, which I was kind of happy about. The first one that I knocked off was Saints Row the Third. I finally finished.
And did it meet all your did Gangsters in Space meet up to your expectations?
It really did, actually. It was fucking hilarious. I had a good laugh for Gangsters in Space.
No, that pan in and out constantly just got me.
Yeah, as a self-professed huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, Gangsters in Space was a nice touch to it. But I mean, there's not really much to say about it because honestly, if you're playing Saints Row, any of the Saints Row games, for the depth of their plot,
you're not reaching far.
You're missing the boat. If you're not actually enjoying, it's like perfect existential gaming.
To be fair, I thought Saints Row 2 on the PC was absolutely terrible.
Oh, it was trash.
It was. I always think that as the stain on the 33rd Street Saints. That's the only stain they ever had with me.
Yeah, and it was not, to be fair, it wasn't anything about the quality of the game. It was purely about the quality of the port.
Correct. Because I did actually get to play it on the Xbox, and it was magnificent.
Yeah. So there's nothing to say about like the finality of playing the game, because it is like this. It's perfect existentialism in gaming, where it's like you could honestly have like a Saints Row game not about anything, and probably still have just as much fun.
Ergo Saints Row 4.
Well, they have to. The thing is that they have to structure it in a certain way that
it makes sense.
More of the game gets revealed to you during the course of playing it, if you know what I mean.
So how long is it going to take you to play Saints Row 4?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. The problem that I have is that I played like all of Saints Row 3rd cooperatively.
Ooh.
I never sat down and played it by myself. I just didn't.
Yeah, well, that's the best way to play it, really.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it playing cooperatively, so I pretty much only had like between like 1 and 3 people that I played with, and we all had our own games running. And it just got to the point in time where, like 2 of them had finished it, but like the last guy hadn't, and we were like, we should really finish this game because the 4th one's out, and it looks fucking hilarious, and we should get to it soon. So, so hopefully I'll get a chance to play that soon. I also knocked Gone Home off the docket.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Well, people are like, oh, Gone Home's not really a game. It was a first person fully story based game where you basically come home. You play like presumably like a late teens, early 20s girl in like 1995, I think it is. It's like 94 or 95, and you've been traveling away in Europe, and you come home to this new house that your family has been living at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you walk in the door, or you appear on the doorstep, and nobody's home, and the whole game is this like exploration based kind of like just kind of going through your family's things, trying to figure out why nobody's home.
Huh.
And the reason why it took me so long to get through was because I knew that it was a game that only lasted about like 2 hours or something like that, and as a result, it was always one of those games where I was like, you know what, I want to sit down, I don't want to play it straight through. Because I just want to immerse myself in it and, like, play these 2 hours, do my thing, and be done with it, So every time I had, like, enough time to play it, every time I had, like, 2 hours or something like that, I always found something else to do. Or I felt like it wasn't going to be enough time. Like, if I had 90 minutes, I'm like, God, I want to play something. And it's like, well, Gone Home's there. I'm like, no, I'm probably going to need, like, 2, maybe 2.5 hours for it. And then as soon as I had, like, 2.5 hours, I'm like, 2.5 hours? That's plenty of time to sit down and play Payday 2.
Aw, yeah.
So I always kind of, like, moved it off to the side for these other games, right? But I finally sat down this weekend and I got through it. It turns out that I'm going to have a lot more time on my own to play video games on weekends. No, it's the weirdest thing. As a quick aside, my girlfriend just got a brand new job where she's going to be working in assisted care, where basically kids that have emotional or mental or intellectual disorders get put into houses because their parents either, need the help or are legally not capable of assisting, their child's needs or something like that. So they basically, they take care of these kids that require a special hand, and that for whatever reason the parent has requested the help of these agencies. And that means that she goes to work Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, and then finishes work Sunday morning.
Oh shit!
She has to she has to spend the night at this house.
Spend the night, spend the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm from Thursday nights now to Sunday mornings, I'm kind of like left to my own devices. So I get to do things like, I don't know, play lots of video games.
Okay, as an aside, before you continue with your list, is it just me, or is Payday 2 a little bit shallower than you were expecting?
I think the problem is not that it's more shallow than I was expecting, but the growth that they gave the original Payday, because I mean it was like a $20 release and there were like 4 heists in it, and like that was it. And everybody played those 4 heists to death for like the first month or something, and then they were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then it was like a year later or something like that, everybody was like, oh, what the heck? There's a new thing for Payday. And then suddenly, like, these 4 heists had become like 9 heists.
Yeah.
And they had all these different guns and different masks, and it was like, you were like, what the hell? When did this become a game?
Yeah.
And I think the thing is just that having that in mind and then moving to Payday 2 and them trying new things out like CrimeNet and stuff like that made it a little bit stranger. Like it wasn't necessarily what we were ready for, and it wasn't as much game as we thought we were going to get, though I have great hopes for what's going to develop in Payday 2 over the next year due to DLC.
Was there actually... I haven't played a lot of past level 40, but is there actually like a full week of heist, like a 7-day heist?
I don't remember.
I remember there's 3 days. I can't... no, wait, was there a 4-day? But I can't remember if it goes any farther than that. I thought that would be... well, I don't know if that... but it would be interesting. I'd probably just... if I was still playing it, I'd probably just grind jewelry heists for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I'll get level 100, and then I'll probably stop playing it.
God, you have no joy, man.
It's just something you take away from MMOs, man. It's poisoned my soul forever. It's just there. It's just my senses have dulled to grinding. Oh shit!
I don't think there's a 7-day heist at this point in time.
All right. Well, actually, get back to your list.
Yeah. So yeah, I knocked Gone Home out. I enjoyed it.
It looks interesting for a 20. Is it $20?
I think so. I think it's about $20. Let me just quickly check on the store page right here. Yeah, $20.
Yeah.
And I think that people who remember the 90s are probably a little more likely to enjoy than people who don't remember the 90s. There's a lot of those, like, radical sort of tie-dye styled clothes, and, like, I remember...
I think things were too bright in the 90s.
I would agree with you. I remember like finding particular delight going through their VHS collection and being like, "Oh my God, it's a tape for the X-Files!" like back in the days when you used to have to like program your VCR to record certain shows and things like that.
I had the whole VHS set for the X-Files.
Yeah,
that was not pretty.
And just like you find these like little bits and pieces and things like that. There were movie tickets, and they talk about like Pulp Fiction, and there's a collage on a locker at one point in time that's got like the Twin Peaks stars on it.
Oh man.
God, what else?
So it's just a basic road trip back to the 90s, huh?
It's really 90s, and I mean that's not too, because it does unearth quite a lot of there's a lot of emotional content that comes out of it. Without talking too much about it, because I mean this is a game that like banks entirely on your like your first experience with it, really, and like how thoroughly you wanna explore and give yourself to the experience, right? It writes a pretty touching story. A little predictable at times, but it's interesting because a lot of the narration basically takes place as kind of diary entries. where you're exploring your family's home basically, and your little sister is writing letters to you, but not actual letters that she sent to you. She writes in a diary as though she's writing to you. And then when you find certain like objects in the house or certain like pieces of writing or something like that, you get a reading of one of these diary entries. But like the more fascinating things that I found about the game actually were ones like little weird backstories that almost entirely depended on you picking stuff up that you didn't need to. Because the way that your sister's writing to you, it's like her story becomes kind of like the chief story. She's the story that kind of like runs the course of the game, because in order to find like the key to the basement, or like, the combination that opens this thing or something, you kind of have to find these things that your sister's attached to. But then there's these like weird little backstories, like what's going on with your dad and what's going on with your mom at the same time. And it's like that I kind of like a little bit better, because it's not spelling things out for you. You're just like, you're rummaging through boxes and like, kitchen drawers and things like that, and finding these things and making inferences about how their lives have developed over the past, however many years or whatnot. But yeah, people will definitely argue that it's not a game.
Yeah, that's apparent from its trailer.
But I mean, Austin and I have said at several times in the history of the podcast is that it's like you couldn't do it anywhere else. Like you couldn't make Gone Home the short film. You couldn't make Gone Home the movie. Like it's such a personal and investigative experience of like, of opening these things and like picking up these boxes and opening cabinets and looking around and things like that, that the only medium that it could ever have been accomplished in was as a video game.
That's true.
But it doesn't. That doesn't mean that everybody's gonna like it. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, this game, blah 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 blah. But a lot of people, I maybe a little unfairly kind of relate it to Dear Esther, insofar as that it's more interactive than Dear Esther was.
I wonder if you could do Gone Home as an interactive DVD.
Oh God, let's not even talk about interactive DVDs. That was like that was like the age when video games realized that they could film interlaced, like badly compressed interlaced video onto CDs and then have FMV video games.
Yeah.
Just awful abuses of early technology.
Is our lives richer with it? Probably not.
Probably not.
Still a ride, though.
With the exception of maybe the Wing Commander games and the Tex Murphy games. The Tex Murphy games were pretty good as well. But that aside, the game that I really want to talk about this week, because I managed to play like 7 or 8 hours of it, was Shadow Warrior.
Okay, now I just noticed that this was out, and I just like instantly bought it while you were talking about going home. Yeah. I was like, oh, I've been waiting for this game. I didn't know when it was coming out.
I got to play like 7 or 8 hours of Shadow Warrior, and it's kind of fucking hilarious.
Well, when you got a guy named Lo Wang as your main character.
This is the funny thing about it, is that I was actually expecting it to be way more racist than it actually is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not racist at all then.
It's not really that racist. He's got kind of this, goofy accent, but apart from that, like he speaks English perfectly.
Yeah, I noticed that. I've seen some early copy footage, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty good English you got there.
Yeah, they don't break the English up automatically or anything to give them this, like English kind of thing going on, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, they do this other thing. There's another gag that they have during the course of the game where they lay fortune cookies around. And you pick fortune cookies up. And at first I thought it was going to be like, really stupid, ridiculous, like, Chinese, even though fortune cookies aren't Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought that it was going to be these really stupid, cliched but it's really not. You know, like one of my favorites was you don't need a parachute to skydive. You only need a parachute to skydive twice. Or there was another one that I really liked that was like, light travels faster than sound. That's why some people look brilliant until you hear them speak.
Oh, that's a good one.
But then, like, I mean, it's so, you know, the thing is that they don't, like, the thing is they don't make him look foolish, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
he
sounded pretty badass during the opening part, at least.
It's not even that, like, he sounds pretty badass. They don't make him look like an idiot. They don't like, you know, he's got a bit of an accent, but that's it. You know,
so
like,
they don't make him like he's Jackie Chan.
Yeah. You know, it starts and he's driving this, like, badass car down this, like, side road because he's going to go buy this, like, ancient sword from this dude. And he, like, pops the stereo on and it's, "You've got the touch." It's like, "You got the touch!" And I'm like, oh, fuck, yes, I love this game.
Yes.
There's even a fortune cookie in the game that I found where the fortune inside reads, "You're the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down." And I was like, I'm the best. Around. Nothing's going to ever keep you down. You're the best.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And there's a couple of other things that are just, like, that I fucking love about it. Like, for example, if you own a copy of Saints Row 4,
yeah,
you can transform your katana
into the dildo bat, right?
It's the dildo bat.
Yeah, that's right.
If you own a copy of Hotline Miami, you can transform it into the Hotline Miami katana. So it's this, like, pixely, you know.
I thought it was going to be like a cricket bat or something like that.
No. It's a Hotline Miami katana. And I gotta say, it's the most fun that I've had with a dismemberment system in years.
Really?
Oh yeah, like there's no blocking with the weapon, but there's all these, like, you get all these special powers that you can use that are all, like, key-based and mouse-based. It'll be, like, tap S twice and then hold left mouse button, or, you know, tap D and then hold right mouse button or something like that. And it's like, so there's no block. It's all offensive. But it's just like, you're just like, you know, you slice somebody and then you just see their body, like,
fold over.
It's just like, no, like the torso just, like, separates. And it just, like, it's so badass. You just, like, you see a bunch of demons running at you, and you're like, no, I don't think I'm going to use the rocket launcher. It takes too long to fire. And then you just whip the sword out, and you just come running at these guys, and it's, oh, man. It is so much fun. And it's funny, and it's irreverent. Like, one of the characters in the game who kind of, like, plays a bit of a tag-along, there's, you know, it's kind of like occultism. You know, there's, like, a Chinese shadow world that's invading your world. And
so what you're saying is the player character either gets possessed or is friends with a demon.
He's friends with a demon,
okay.
Basically. There comes a point in time very early on in the plot where you meet a demon that's been banished from the Shadow Realm, and he's like, you know, you don't have a chance to survive these things on your own. I need someone to do my dirty work. How about we team up? And his voice, the voice actor they got to play him is pretty annoying. But they have some pretty good line reads, and the rapport they build is actually very, very entertaining. So that's great. I mean, the guys who made it, Flying Wild Hog Studios, they did another game a couple years back called Hard Reset. And Hard Reset, it was like a cyberpunk shooty game. That was it. It was like robots and guns and electricity and explosions and just do it. And it was good. It lacked a certain oomph, but it certainly did its job in bringing back, like, first-person shooters to this whole, like, you know, hey, grab your mouse, grab your keyboard, get ready to shoot at shit. And that's really what Shadow Warrior is. It's like, it's a simple kind of like no nonsense. This is action. You're going to go in there. You're going to hack some motherfuckers up with your purple dildo bat, provided you own a copy of Saints Row the Fourth. And then, like, you're going to have fun doing it. And it's irreverent, but it's not disrespectful. It's clever. It's gorgeous, too, actually. I'm surprised at how good the graphics look.
I'm looking at, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm looking at Hard Reset, the trailer for it they have on Steam. This is the game I wish Divine Cybermancy was.
Yeah.
Fuck. If only I played that instead.
Well, keep an eye out for it next time it goes on sale.
Well, how much is it? $14.99? Fuck it, add it. Done. Got it.
So, yeah, like they've made these simple, straight to the point, first-person shooters that are just like, get in there, get bloody, you're done. And their boss fights are particularly amusing as well, actually. The boss fights are fun. Because they're like, you get sucked into this other world, and they're like these huge, huge motherfuckers. And you have to, like, shoot at them, obviously, because the sword's not really that good for you.
It lacks the reach.
It doesn't have the distance that you're looking for. But like there's not much to say about it. The plot's pretty simple. The characters are funny, but not really that interesting. It's just fun. It's so much fun. It really is. Like I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the sword play. I really enjoy the weapons too. Like there's something about when you get weapons in a game that are just satisfying to use.
Of course.
And it's always the litmus test is always the shotgun.
Yeah, that's a pretty good baseline. Yeah.
Like if you get a game and you fire the shotgun and you're just like, oh, that was it.
Or where do you go? Oh, this'll do nicely.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that moment right there. That's when I know whether or not I'm like, yes.
Bullet
you and I are going to be friends, game. So it's loads of fun. It really is. I'm probably about and actually surprisingly long as well, because I remember being a little disappointed at Hard Reset's length. Give me a second here. I can't remember. Okay, no. I played Hard Reset for about 8 hours, it looks like. I felt maybe it was the pacing I was upset at. It was a while ago. It's been some time since I since I played Hard Reset, but I feel like I'm about 2/3 of the way in through Shadow Warrior, and I've played maybe like 7 hours or something. So it feels like a decent. Good. It feels like a decent length right now. So that's kind of good. But I mean,
10 or 11 hours for $30. Yeah, if it's as good as you say, yeah.
Satisfying sword play, and I gotta say too that actually some of the special abilities are kind of fun as well, actually. And no, it's good times. I'm really enjoying it, actually. I am really enjoying it.
I'm now all this talk about shotguns. Maybe I'll make a top 5 best shotguns in gaming ever.
What would you put on that?
Bulletstorm shotgun, Doom shotgun.
Wait.
Doom 2.
The double
barrel shotgun.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Those are the only 2 that stand out right now.
See, that's the thing, is that it's kind of like, there are obviously other shotguns that have been in gaming, but those ones right there, they have defined the entire genre. That's it, like, whenever anybody else comes out with a double-barreled shotgun, you're like, yes.
Doom 2 did it better.
The Doom 2, I see.
I see. The Doom 2 times 2. Interesting.
Looking through my games here, and I don't know.
Which was the first? I'm trying to think of the first game that introduced me to the automatic shotgun with the barrel. You actually put it slap on a cylinder instead of the load in every shot.
Oh yeah, the drum.
Yeah,
the drum
drums.
barrel.
That's it. drums. That's what the word I was looking for. I think maybe it was Counter-Strike.
Very possibly. Counter-Strike was...
no, Counter-Strike didn't have one like that.
No?
It might have been Dave... No, it was... No, Day of Defeat didn't have that either. It was
Day of Defeat.
It was a drum-fed machine gun. Oh, man, I'm going to have to take a look at all the first-person shooters I've played and try and pick out 5.
I remember the shotgun in Fear feeling pretty good.
I haven't played Fear.
The original, I think it was the original shotgun, the original Fear, pardon me, that had a shotgun that was pretty sweet.
Half-Life. No, that shotgun was crap.
Yeah, the shotgun of Half-Life wasn't that good.
Doom 2. Dishonored didn't have a shotgun, I think. No.
Not really.
Dead Space, yes, kinda. It had some sort of shotgun. The lines of shotgun in that game got widened pretty fast.
Yeah, the BioShock shotgun wasn't that good.
Ooh, actually, that might be a good one because you got
the BioShock shotgun.
Well, the BioShock 1 shotgun, you can light people on fire. Well,
yeah, you could upgrade it.
That's incendiary rounds. That's not too much. Yeah, let's see. Keep going. Far Cry 3? No.
Nah.
God mode? God, no. Hitman. Oh my god. When did I buy Hitman Absolution? I don't even remember this. It must have been during a sale.
You should play it. It's a really good game.
Well, when I have space on my computer, I'm not blessed with terabyte hard drives. I still only have a 300 gig Velociraptor hard drive that's 5 years old.
I used to have problems like you, James.
And then you upgraded.
You bet I did.
To what?
I got myself a 500 gigabyte solid state drive and a 1 tera. Actually, no, not a 1 terabyte, a 3 terabyte drive on the side.
Maybe a next computer. This one still has about 2 years left before I can safely say I can trade this one in, or I can put this one as my server.
I'm going to go ahead and warn you that when you move to solid-state drives, that's it. You're never going to go back again. You are never going to go back. I wrinkle my face with disgust every time I have to boot up my computer at work.
Grimace. I just keep it on.
I really do. The IT guy had a good laugh. I was like, oh, jeez, oh. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. I have a solid-state drive at home. And he had a good laugh. He was like, oh, well, I mean, not all of us can live with such opulence. And I was like, yeah, but I want to.
Maybe. Oh, what about Unreal Tournament? Did they have any good shotgun? No, I don't think so. Unreal Tournament was always about the exotic weapons, not the shotguns.
Yes. Yeah.
Like flak cannons.
Now, the flak cannon was an incredibly satisfying weapon.
It was, but it's technically not a shotgun.
It's not a shotgun. Not a shotgun.
Maybe I'll just do it 5 most satisfying weapons. Well, maybe firearms. 5 most satisfying firearms. I don't know. I can't think of anything aside from Doom 2 and Bulletstorm. This is terrible. Send your suggestions to
Sean at BlizzardThumbs.net
at BT, or you can check me on Twitter at BT_James. Because I really don't know. I really can't think of anything aside from those 2.
I'm sorry, James. To end on such a humiliating note.
Brought to you by Whirlpool.
Brought to you by Whirlpool. But that's the end of what I've been playing this week. I'm hoping to get done with Shadow Warrior by the end of the week, and then
I hope to have my. I told Austin that I'd write a review for Final Fantasy XIV, but I keep playing it and finding new things that I have to delve deeper into. So
that is usually a problem when you have to write something.
Freaking MMOs. Don't know when to stop.
Yep.
Stop MMOs. I'll probably get it out before the weekend. Look forward to it.
Yeah, stay tuned, listeners.
Yeah. Brought to you by Whirlpool.
All right. Maybe it's time to call this thing to a
Yeah, before we sell it even more.
wreck of a close.
9:47. Shit. 2 hours. I keep forgetting this basically takes up the rest of the evening.
It sometimes does, unfortunately.
Oh, Terraria 1.2 update is for PC is now live.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh shit, there goes the rest of my week.
I was really hoping that before the end of the podcast, the next Frictional game would get announced, but the website's still fucking, like, meh.
Frictional?
Yeah, the guys who did Amnesia: The Dark Descent, they've
They said, we got the true sequel coming out soon. Don't worry.
No. Don't you? It was a good game. A Machine for Pigs was a good game. It just wasn't the game that everybody was expecting.
Yeah, that's basically what it came down to.
So, judged on its own merits, I found it to be very, very good. I just, it was obvious that what made Amnesia: The Dark Descent so popular was not as deep a component of A Machine for Pigs.
Correct.
But yeah, their next game, which so far remains unannounced, available at http://nextfrictionalgame.com, has had a counter up for a couple of days that's been going, and it's been at 99% this whole evening, and I'm just like waiting for it to switch over to 100, and it's not doing it. I want that to happen.
99%.
Yeah, ever since I came home.
Hey, what was that thing that Yosef had that in that chat last week? Was it like an IP address, right? And it said, it's not your time yet.
I don't know. I got kicked out of the staff chat.
Shameful. Oh wait, I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that I said anything any more inflammatory than I normally do.
It's just Austin being a jerk.
Well, no. Apparently, they want to pare down the staff room to news article writers and things like that. So I got the deep six on that.
It still has.
Because while I still do write the occasional review when tapped for it. He tells me that they wanted to They wanted to slim.
Why am I still there then? I haven't written a news article since E3.
Don't ask me, man. You're the only person who plays MMOs, so they probably see you as being valuable. Whereas my role largely as a reviewer at Blistered Thumbs right now is whenever Austin can't handle anything. I don't think I'm actually. I'm not. Yeah, I am not.
You're the BT therapist.
I'm not on the reviews list at all right now. There's no title that's been relegated to me. Because the only time I come there is when whoever has a gaming PC gets overloaded and they're like, oh my god, we have this game that needs to be reviewed on PC, and everybody who's doing something on PC right now is busy. So I get to do 3 things for PS4. I'm like a relief pitcher.
Oh man, I should totally ask if I can snag Assassin's Creed 4 from Yosef because it comes out like a week later than us.
He is gonna fight.
He's gonna get a plane ticket over to Canada and kill me.
Yeah, he probably would. I imagine he's already got a review copy as well, just because he's actually pretty good buds with the guys at Ubisoft. Although he's got Watch Dogs as well, which releases on the same day. So good luck with that.
I want that. I want to do. Okay, fuck that. I'm gonna ask Austin if I can do Watch Dogs then. Fuck him. Wait, I have 3. I probably won't be able to do it. Well, to be fair, 2 of them are driving games.
Yeah, that's true.
I could probably knock those out pretty quickly.
Austin's going to have fun editing this, because he's going to have to take all this out. That's what you get, Austin.
Yeah, fuck you, Austin.